And so I was like, shit, what am I going to do? So thank God the neighbor next door, her husband's a police officer and he works overnight. So I called them really quickly. Hi, Shannon. And,
Hi.
and he came over and got it. There was a snake in my house.
Oh gosh. Where do you live?
I'm in Florida. So, I've had geckos or lizards and,
Yes.
I think we've even found like a roach before that came in, but like I swear to God, like when I first saw the snake, I thought it was like much bigger. So when my neighbor's husband, I called him, it was during the day. He works overnight, so he's a police officer. So I was like, he's used to crazy stuff. So I'm like, send him over. And so he came over and he went and he's like, where is it? And I'm like, he's like, I can't find it. It was in the bathroom. Of course, it was like a really tiny, baby garter snake. But I was like, my youngest who found it, it was in his bedroom.
Oh,
I was like, thank God I wasn't like a boa constrictor. Because, you hear about that stuff in Florida all the
yes.
time.
Yes.
Anyway, so that was my chaos. And I'm recovering from being sick. So that like happened during, as I was recovering. So it's like, why does that shit happen all the time?
That's so true. My sister just moved to Florida.
Oh, really?
And she is texting me because I'm the animal freak in the family. And she's like, what kind of snake is this? Because she freaks out over everything. And I'm trying to see what town she lives in. And it was just like a water snake. But
oh, wait, like a good water snake or like a bad water snake?
I mean, I don't think it's poisonous water snake.
Maybe
like black with a light colored tummy.
Yeah, that would be poisonous. That would
Okay,
be
maybe it was a poisonous one. Yeah, good times.
well. The funny thing is,
Riverview. They're in Riverview.
the funny thing that I figured out is that like they say like the brighter the color like the frog, the more poisonous. But the brighter the color the snake, I think the less poisonous. But there is like a black rat snake that's down here that mimics like a water snake. That's not poisonous, but you want it to be around because it eats the palm rats.
Yes.
So anyway, there's your lesson for snakes today. You're welcome.
I know. I can't wait to go visit. I'm like, there's alligators and all this fun stuff.
I know.
All these animals we don't have here.
I was walking my dog, speaking of an alligator, before I got sick. It was a little while ago. And I saw something crawling in the road. And I'm like, what in the hell is that? Like literally in the middle of the road. And it was a baby alligator. And when I say baby, I mean like it was like 2 feet, But
my gosh.
Like you don't, it's not cute. That's not cute. I mean,
no, yeah. I mean, I would think it's cute, but yeah.
So yes, we have weird things. Shannon, this is Gabby. Gabby, this is
Hi, Gabby.
Cheers.
Can you hear me okay? Cheers.
Yeah, you're great. We got coffee.
Cheers. Yep.
Coffee. Ooh, is that a Starbucks? I really need a Starbucks.
Dutch Bros.
Oh, we don't have those
you guys
here.
don't have Dutch Bros.
No.
Dutch Bros started in like Oregon and now it's slowly, it'll get to you eventually. I mean, eventually 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. It's Florida. Everything comes down to Florida.
Yeah.
Everybody's here. Yeah, eventually.
So get there.
It's been a minute. I was thinking about like you came on a while ago and I was trying to remember season 2, episode 89, one of our number 1 episode for 2022. Yay! We revisited it and it was such a fun conversation where we learned a little bit about your background because obviously I found you on social media because you're hilarious. Mm-hmm. But there's like more than meets the eye, right? So
yes.
And so we talked a lot about, where you came from being a cult survivor and a mom and infidelity and adoption and all that kind of stuff. And like when we left off, you were like, I'm in the middle of my healing process and I'm going to start a podcast. So let's start there.
Oh boy, have things changed. Okay, yes. Well, first of all, thank you for having me again. I had so much fun chatting with you guys. So it was so much fun. But yeah, so if we're leaving off, I was starting the podcast. Yes, I have started the podcast. It is called the Shanny Pants Show. And I think I'm on episode 25, 26 now. And it's been so much fun. It is like, I kind of resisted starting it because I wanted it to be perfect and I wanted everything to, and everyone's like, just start, like you'll get better. It'll start happening. So sure enough, like I had sound issues starting out and all the things that you have to learn. But I was so glad I started it, and just talking. I love talking, obviously, but talking with so many people and hearing everyone's stories. It's kind of like your podcast where it's pretty broad as far as who I interview. I wanted to keep it that way just because I wanted to be able to interview whoever I wanted to interview.
Yeah.
So I feel like most of the interviews kind of relate back to me in some form. And so I've got like a lot of cult survivors on there, psychologists, psychiatrists, just some other doctors, just information, like good stories and good information. I've got some social media, creators that I've interviewed on there. And yeah, so it's been really good for me and so much fun. Like I'm obsessed with it now. Like it's like my jam. Like I'm like, okay, this I love.
Isn't it funny how like you think to yourself, like you get yourself all hyped up about starting a podcast, and then it is a lot of work though. I mean, on the
Yeah,
back end of
it is.
things, depending on how you approach it. I think people think, oh, I'll just grab a microphone, I'll just start recording. Yes, you can,
Right.
but there's a lot more to it, and
Right.
there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle. But I'm glad, I'm always a big advocate for people to start podcasts because I think it's such a fun platform.
It
And
is.
and it's a great way to share information. It's a great way to connect with different people. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. So what would be your favorite like so far? Not you can't say favorite because
I
it's like
know, it's
then
so
you're
hard.
yeah.
It's so hard. Someone else had asked me that too, and I'm not sure, except actually I think the last one that aired was a really fun one. I think because I'm getting more comfortable doing it,
Yeah.
they're getting like better and better every interview, but it was a really fun one. It was Tyler Measom, and he's a film director, and he has a podcast. Him and Liz Iacuzi have a podcast called Was I in a Cult? And so they had me on their podcast. Oh gosh, I don't know, a year or so ago for sure. Maybe like 2 years. Anyway, a while ago. And so then I had told them when I did it, well, you guys will have to be on mine someday too. So anyway,
Yeah.
I did the interview with him, and we're just very similar, like super sarcastic personalities.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like it was just a very relaxed, fun interview. Like we just laughed a lot, and we have enough shared experiences from how we grew up that that we now can laugh at.
Yeah.
So it was, and of course that's the freshest one in my mind because I edited it not too long ago. But it was a real relaxed, fun conversation. So I
That's
enjoyed that one,
yeah.
but I do enjoy them all. They're so fun.
Gabby, I feel like you had a question. I'm gonna throw it
No,
over to you.
yeah, no, I
Yeah.
thought that was cool. I did listen to that last one and
Yeah. Okay.
it was pretty cool. It was pretty funny. You
Yeah.
did sound very relaxed and I really liked it. And being a
Oh, did she freeze?
Oh man.
it's
Come
got
on,
pulled
Gabby.
one.
She'll come
Sorry.
back.
Oh, there we
Sorry.
are.
Did I freeze?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you froze.
Oh,
You're
I'm
good.
sorry. I'm sorry. Being a I almost got pulled into a cult once.
Oh.
So
Did
it
you?
was very yeah. Yeah, I had
Wow.
to well, okay, so in Mexico City, I applied for a job as a teacher. And one of the requirements was to do this program, like this specialty program. And so they were going to pay for it. I didn't have to pay a dime, but I had to go. So I ended up going. And over the course of like the weekend, I start realizing that this is more like a cult thing that's going on. But I had to go for my job.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
it was
Mm.
something like I had my
Required.
job and then like this was like separate. But I never got completely pulled in because I feel like as an outsider where you're forced to do something, you have a different perspective. So me along with my fellow peers, we were like, this is a cult.
Oh my gosh. Are you able to say which one it was, or do you not like to say?
No, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. No, the name is Nexium.
Oh my
So
gosh. Okay, so oh my
Oh,
gosh.
yeah.
You
Oh,
have to
no.
be okay, you have to be on my podcast. Sorry.
yeah.
No,
Is it
that's
okay
fine.
that we're on a tangent? Okay.
Yeah.
So Sarah Edmondson was a whistleblower for Nexium.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So she was on my podcast,
Oh
and
my
that was a great interview. Yeah.
I have to
And
look that up.
yes, and I'm actually really connected with her now. and I'm actually going later this year to speak at, and it's called I Got Out. Hashtag I Got Out is like what we support. And I'm going to go speak at an event that we're having for cult survivors.
Oh my
But
God.
she was very involved, and she has a book called Scarred, which is fabulous. And she actually got branded. She was one of the girls
Oh
that
my
got branded
God,
from Keith.
no.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah,
Like
Yeah.
yeah.
actually
And so
branded with like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking like put a poker in the fire
yeah,
and like,
no,
Yeah,
exactly
yeah,
that.
branded.
seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
what is this like cult? Because like a lot of people don't understand, like when you think of cults, you think of like religious cults, right? So
Right.
I guess we're going down this rabbit hole, which is totally fine.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's chaos. It's
It's
chaos.
so fun. Yeah.
It's chaos.
It is
But
chaos.
it is chaos. But it's like you think of religion as like a
Right.
cult, but there's so many other layers
Yeah.
to what like a cult
Oh, yeah.
could be like, you know? So
Right.
I mean, let's like unpack that a little bit.
And I mean, it kind of does take on that definition of a religion because the people who are
Mhm.
involved admire these people so much. They look to them as gods. Like
Yeah.
it was crazy witnessing that. Just
I
going into a room
bet.
and just seeing everybody just like with their mouths open, jaws dropped, and like repeating everything verbatim.
Oh my gosh.
It was insane. And so we had to do it too. And we just ended up, you know, like
Getting through
saying
the
lyrics
weekend.
to like
Yeah.
a different song or something and just
Oh
moving
my
our lips and
gosh.
not participating in any of it because we didn't want to get pulled into that.
Good for you. You were
Interesting.
smart. You had your wits about you because so many people did not. And it's so scary. So have you, Gabby, watched The Vow, the docuseries?
I
You
haven't yet.
Okay, you need to watch that because
Yeah.
it's on Nexium. It's about Nexium. And so it's the whole process kind of Sarah and Nippy and Mark Vicente kind of being the whistleblowers. Well, and actually Mark's wife, what's her name? Anyway, being the whistleblowers and kind of, you know, blowing the whole thing up. And Keith is now in prison for I think like 182 years or something like that.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So yeah, but a crazy story. And yeah, it's just that type of thing. So like you said, it's not really a religion, but with that, it was more of this like positive mindset, growing type. And like you said, you were going to be a teacher and they send you to do this. So it's like a training, you know, it's like these
Yeah.
trainings. And then there's all these levels and blah, 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 blah. But again, it's not a religion, but like you said, Gabby, it is in the fact that they do like worship this person almost as this other, you know, above human being because he's so amazing. It's
Oh yeah.
crazy.
Oh yeah, the way they spoke about him and the fact that they had his picture on the wall
Yes.
and they would bow. They would bow. I never did the bow, but they would bow to him and everything. So the program itself, if you're just on the surface, can help you, you know, you
Mhm.
can get tools to, you know, think in a different way and have a different perspective and have empathy again towards others and everything. But once you dive a little deeper,
Mhm.
that's where the issue lies. And I think that we didn't get sucked into it because, like I said, we were forced to do this.
Right.
So we didn't
Yes.
invest any of our money into this. It was just a requirement for our job.
Oh, thank goodness.
Wow, that's interesting. What is Nexium? I feel like is that like a diet pill or something? That's what I'm
I
thinking
think
of.
there is like a next. I don't know. I feel like
I don't know.
it's spelled weird. It's N-I. What is it?
NXIVM, I think.
Yeah, I think so. You have to watch The Vow though. You have to. You will die. Like it is
Oh my
so
God.
crazy.
The
Although
Vow?
yes, The Vow. It's
Okay.
not there. There's also a movie called The Vow, but this is a docuseries.
Okay.
I think it's on HBO.
I think it's on HBO.
Max. I mean, I watch that. That's where I watched
And
it.
then as everything was like happening, I remember like I had just left, I think a year ago, like a year before everything like unraveled.
wow.
But there was
Wow.
already like some shady business going on that we had noticed and picked up on.
Mm.
And yeah, it was.
Oh my, that is so, when you were saying
Small
that, I'm
world.
like, I bet this is Nexium, but I don't know what to say. Like that, because it just sounded like that. It's like, oh, a training, like, let's go do this. And I think I don't know who's the first person that started saying it. I think it might have been Mark Vicente, but like nobody joins a cult. They join a good thing. And it's true, you know, people are joining a training or an acting class or a yoga class or a religion. And then it turns into, you know, something crazy. And they do, you know, little by little, they kind of suck you in. But like you said, you didn't have money invested either. And that, I think, with the NXIVM level type thing is a big deal, because they get you to invest that first couple $1,000s. And then it's like, oh, well, you should really do this training next. You've already invested, you know, $5,000. What's another $5,000? What's another 10 grand?
Right.
And then it's just like snowballs into like, well, I've got so much money invested, I better keep going. Good for you. Oh my gosh. That is so crazy.
Well, that's interesting though, too, because a lot of times you find people like are drawn to those types of things because they're looking for something, they feel lost, or they, you know, people are preying on the fact that like you're trying to better yourself or have a better life. And it's interesting that your work sort of like, you know, steered you into that direction, you know, for some sort of training. That's interesting.
It's so
interesting. I mean, and there's a lot of that out there. You got to be really careful, because I've gotten into the whole self-healing and self-help and, you know, doing these different types of things. And I really rely on my judgment, and I try to be very careful. I listen to my gut, you know, so if I feel like it feels good and like it feels legit, you know, I will, you know, proceed. But like if I feel like, oh, this feels a little scammy, like I'm not really sure, I'm getting the weird vibes or like the red flags, like I try to stay away from it. You got to be really careful out there, because I guess people are out there to take advantage of you.
They are.
They are.
So speaking of like taking advantage, I mean, obviously you're a huge social influencer, and you have, I mean, well, I know you're like rolling your eyes. I mean, but it's hilarious. But,
I mean, sure. No.
Well, I mean, that's kind of how you kind of, you know,
it is how I evolved into what it is now. Yes.
And I mean, it didn't start that way. So like, why did you start doing stuff on social media? Because we didn't really dive into this our last conversation, because we got stuck into the cult stuff. And and I think it's hilarious because I'm like over perfection, you know, and I'm also over people trying to be imperfect. If I just want to see real life stuff, you know, and I feel like that's kind of what you bring to the table. However, you've been hard to find, because speaking of people scamming, you got hacked.
Yes, I get hacked.
So, and you got to be careful out there when you're in social media, you know, so
that's why it was so hard to find you.
Yes.
Like, I can't find her.
It has been a great couple of months. Couple of months.
What happened?
So, like, first of all, hackers are super smart. I got to hand it to them. Like, these people are on some special level of brilliant, because they're just amazing in all the wrong ways. But it was an email hack. I get emails every single day. Like, and every day, at least once a day, I'll get like a Facebook email that's like, your Facebook account is going to be deactivated if you do not blah, 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 almost every single day. So you just delete. I was walking out the door. This is December 5th, walking out the door to pick my kids up for school. And I'm looking on my phone, just checking my last few emails or whatever, and clicked on it. Instead of deleting it, clicked on it. Literally seconds. I'm immediately getting notified from Facebook, like the real Facebook. And I mean, I'm watching it happen on my phone. So I'm like screenshotting it as it's happening, just to try to get as much information as I can. But I mean, it was just a matter of 20 seconds probably, and my account was gone. And so because Facebook and Instagram are connected, Instagram, and I didn't even realize it at first, because I was on my way to go get my kids. And so I had to like put my phone down, of course. And I didn't realize it till later. Someone contacted me by text and said, hey, did you block me on Instagram? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And then I got on Instagram and realized, oh, it's gone. Like official Shanny Pants is gone. It's not there. So on Facebook, so then, and my sister was a partial admin on my Facebook page. So she was able to still see it. I was completely blocked from Facebook, completely. Like I still cannot get on Facebook. So like, and I'm a realtor. So I have a realtor page that I'm always like doing ads for real estate. My personal page, everything is gone. But the hacker is still using my Shanny Pants page on Facebook. I cannot access it. I can't get on Facebook. My account is gone, but somehow they're still using my Shanny Pants page. They post every hour, stupid stuff that's not me. And it started out like real sketchy stuff. But because my sister was partial admin, she got those deleted. Like she reported them as being like, you know, whatever, inappropriate. And so now they don't post that stuff anymore, but they deleted my sister because they've, you know, figured out she was on there still. And now they post every single hour. And I can't see any of it, but every single hour.
Oh my
And so
God.
they're still controlling it. They're taking my money. November, I was making enough money across all my platforms to go full time. So I was planning on January not renewing any of my licensing or any of my accounts for real estate. And I was going to do just content creating full time. And then December 5th, this happened. And so I'm still doing real estate. So anyone in California, I need to buy a house, let me know.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and so now, like you get your notices from Facebook on like how much money you make and your little invoices. And then of course I'm getting my tax stuff this time of year. I got my tax statement and I could see like where my earnings stopped and where they're starting to earn my money. And this is what really pisses me off. The money they're now earning, I'm paying taxes on. Yeah.
Holy
So I
shit.
like, I
Yeah.
have to figure this out. Like, of course, for this last year, it was just a month, not a big deal. But for going forward in the next months, I don't know how much money they're making because I was making good money on Facebook. And they're still making money off all my old videos because, you know, videos is where you're making the money.
Yeah.
So I've got to figure something out. And Facebook is ridiculous. They have no customer service. You cannot talk to an actual person. So I'm stuck right now. You basically have to find someone who works at Facebook who has an in. So my only hope right now is we have this local guy called Call Curtis, and he's like a TV guy. And so they did take my case, and it's like no guarantee, but we're trying. We've had a similar situation, so maybe we can help you. And it's just waiting. So I just have to like wait. That's like my only hope. But at some point, I'm going to have to hire an attorney when it comes to, because it's going to be like tax fraud or like, I don't want to pay taxes on this money that I'm not even making. That's
Right.
not okay.
Yeah.
So at some point, I'm going to probably have to hire someone, but I'm just like, are you kidding me? So it's been months now and no Instagram, and they won't allow me. So what happens when the hacker immediately takes over? They obviously know this is what works. They post child pornography immediately on your page to get you locked out, and then they take over. So silver lining, the second it was posted, I got the notification that my account was gone. And of course it was still there, but so I'm like, okay, at least Facebook's robots are on that situation. But obviously the hackers know that that's what works. So because of that, I am banned from creating any Facebook or Instagram accounts or anything new because they obviously think I posted that. And so like I went immediately to start a new page and a new Instagram account. Nothing. I can't do anything. I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is like, that would keep me up at night. Like, that's just the violation of like your privacy and your content and your art, you know, your artistic value that you've put so much time, like blood, sweat, and tears into like creating that content, and someone to go in and like just hack it and take that all away from you, especially since, and now they're like stealing from you.
Right. Yeah. And
like
that's where I'm like, Facebook doesn't care. They don't care. And okay, so this is even worse. They are using my Shanny Pants page to hack other accounts. But if you look on Facebook, my Shanny Pants page, my email address is still there. So I get emails. There's this one account, they have over 1 million followers. And they emailed me and they're like, hey, what's going on? You're the admin on my account all of a sudden. I can't do anything. What did you do? And I'm like, I'm sorry, it's not me. It's a hacker. And I've kept in touch with that one account by email, and they're having no success either. So now their account with over 1 million followers is hacked, and the same thing's happening to them. But they think I hacked it. Like they're using my name, my logo, everything.
So is your actual Facebook page like there? Like if somebody went to go find
you can see. Oh yeah, you have to go look and see what they're posting. It's ridiculous. It's so stupid.
Wow.
So yeah,
that's really infuriating.
Just like 2 weeks ago, I found an old Instagram account that my friend and I had started in like 2016, and I'm using that now. So I renamed it The Real Shanny Pants. And I am using that. Like I just got it going. So people are slowly starting to find me there. But I still have to get my other accounts back. I'm like, I know it's been Yeah. And you want to go into mental health? You were, talking about that. That sent me on a roller coaster because December is kind of a hard month for me anyway, just with personal stuff. And so I'm already like gearing up for like December's a hard month. You need to stay on top of all the self-care, stay on top of, triggers and all this stuff. So I'm usually pretty like prepped for December, like, okay.
Yeah.
And my daughter's birthday's the 23rd and then of course Christmas and all the things. So so this happens on December 5th and I'm just like, and at first I wasn't even taking it real seriously. I'm just like, oh, it'll work out in like a day or two. We're going to have this figured out. Not a big deal. Well, then as it goes on like a week, I'm like, okay, this is a big deal. Like, and it was weird, as tied into social media as we are.
Yeah.
It was weird to all of a sudden lose my community. And at first I was really questioning myself, and I do a lot of therapy and I'm really hard on myself. And so I'm like, okay, obviously I'm like addicted to social media and I'm addicted to people saying nice things about me because I'm super sad it's gone. My therapist is like, whoop, come on, let's come down a little. Because I'm like, maybe this is just a lesson and I shouldn't be doing this. But when we talked through it, I'm like, what I was missing was the community of people. Like, you have all your normals that you're posting on their pages and they're posting on yours and you're seeing what they're doing. And it's more that community feel.
Yeah.
And it was really hard. Like it was really, really hard for me. And I think too, because it's not like I chose to take a break, like, oh, social media is stressing me out, I need to take a week off. I totally get that. I didn't choose it and it wasn't stressing me out. It was just gone all of a sudden. So I got really depressed and I struggle with depression anyway. And like I said, December is a hard month for me. And then I got sick, like the 20th, I got really sick. So I was already like trying to stay on top of things, like mentally, like, we've got this, come on, stick with things. And then I got sick and it just all went downhill. And I don't feel like I get really like sick very often, but I ended up with like a double ear infection and I couldn't hear and just all kinds of stuff. So I pretty much was in bed for like 6 weeks after that. And I just did the bad depression stuff where it's so deep that it's like hard to explain,
Yeah.
And for people that don't struggle with depression, it's really hard to explain. And it was not good. It was not, I was in a very dark, bad place. And it wasn't just because, oh, I lost my social media account. It was just all these things that pile on that gets you to that feeling of just, it's too much to get up. Like everything is hard. Paying bills is hard. Ordering groceries is hard. I'm like, I'm not shopping, but even ordering groceries, like everything, the littlest things just get extremely hard and challenging. And then I'm hard on myself for that, So it's just like this vicious cycle. So I mean, honestly, it's just been a couple weeks that I finally am back up to the land of the living and getting some motion. I started having some really bad physical issues, which I'm sure were partly because I'm laying in bed for 16 to 20 hours a day for 6 weeks. And so anyway, so I just finally got up, started dealing with stuff. I'm getting some of my physical issues taken care of. I did, I quit doing therapy during that time because, like, I'm fine. I'm just going to lay in bed instead. So I'm getting back into like the healthy things that I know I need to be doing. And, and this goes back to like me. And even when I started the podcast, it was all about like having people. I don't want people to feel alone. Like we're all connected.
Yeah.
We all, there's someone out there that has dealt with something the same or very similar to what we're dealing with. And so it really kind of, that's what dragged me out of it. But I quit doing the podcast during those weeks. Like I did nothing. And I missed it all. And so then it's like, but it's just hard. Like it's just hard when you're there. It's hard to even like, even things you love become too hard, And so yeah, but I'm getting better. I'm getting some physical stuff taken care of. And then my friend, oh my gosh, I wish you guys were local. My friend just bought this business. It's the biggest bounce park in the world. And yes, and she's setting it up, or it's set up now at our mall parking lot. Like it's massive, you guys.
That's awesome.
Massive. And she really needed some help with managing it. And I thrive in like, what can I do? I'm going to do everything. And so I'm like, hey, I don't want to be like full time or anything, but I will help you because I need to have like something to get out of bed for. And so it's been so helpful. So I've been getting out. I'm in the sunshine, which is really important. And my body's moving. Like I'm not back to working out, but I'm sore because I'm just moving now and like working. And so it's been really fun. And it's bringing back, like, I'm having to like be with people and be social and do it all. So it's, I told her, she's like, she feels bad, like I'm working like a kid's job basically. And I'm like, no, this is what I need right now. So it's great.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
after all the turmoil and the
Yes.
darkness that you were stuck in, what are you most proud of?
I think I'm most proud of like I said, I just got that new Instagram account up and running. And I feel like, even I don't even like to say the word proud, but I guess like getting back into that because I loved it so much. And the podcast, I have that back and going now too.
Yeah.
And those are things I'm really proud of. And so getting myself to the point of getting back into those has made me really proud. And it's what like keeps me from getting off this podcast and laying back on the couch knowing I have to edit something before I go to my new little part-time job. So it is that, but yeah, I'm really proud of it because when you are in that dark spot, like, I'm sure you've heard, but like they're like, just do one thing, like make your bed, just make your bed. If that's the only thing you do today, make your bed. And it sounds so silly, but it's true. Like you have to start out really small.
Yes.
And so like little things that might not make much sense, they do make me proud. Like, and it's felt good to be like sore. My body is sore and I'm like, this is a good sore. Like I'm doing something. So yeah.
That's awesome. Like, I feel like we don't say we're proud of our little things, like not very often. And so it's nice to recognize that in ourselves.
I think you're right.
And I think like a really, something that just struck me was the fact that you said like, it wasn't your choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not your choice. It's one thing if you make the choice yourself, but it's another thing when someone strips that from you. You know, and I had a similar experience. I launched a business in voiceover and, and it's a lot. You're putting yourself out there. You are your brand, your voice, everything is your brand. And, you're trying to be open to the experiences coming in. And unfortunately, I had applied for a job on one of the job sites, one of the job platforms. I won't name names. And I thought I was safe. And I went through this whole interview process. Now there was a little weirdness during the interview process. So I said to my husband, my man babe, I'm like, what do you think? And he's like, I don't know. A lot of stuff is AI these days. So it was like, we could talk ourselves out of it,
Right.
And then eventually, I'm driving my kids to Legoland and over a break and I get accepted a job and they want me to, print off the paperwork and sign everything and send it back. And my husband's like, come home right now and do it because this is like going to be huge for our family. It was a financial boost for our family. And it was consistent paid work, remote, where I would be able to be creative and work with the team and be from home. And I was really excited about it. And in the end, I didn't come home and print out the paperwork. I went to Legoland. And then thank God, the night before I came home, a friend of mine was like, hey guys, I want to let you guys know there's a scam going on. And it happened to be that company. And I had done all the checking. I had looked up the company. I had checked and made sure it was okay. It was on like a job website, like ZipRecruiter or Indeed, like something that you think has some back to it, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't one of those, but it was similar. And then I was like, no, this can't be me. Right. You have that moment where you're like, this isn't happening. It can't be me. It's not gonna, it's not me. And so I got home and then I figured out that it was a scam. And so I did some digging and I called that company directly and I got a human being on and they're like, oh, we're sorry. We can't give you any information. I said, this is what's happening to me. And they're like, okay, no, that person doesn't work here. And thank God I didn't give them they didn't get my social number. They didn't get my business number, which I don't know what they would have been able to do with my EIN number. But like the thing is, though, is I'm like, this person in my mind, I'm like, I wanted to crawl into bed. I wanted to crawl in bed and pull the covers. I wanted to pull the plug on all my social medias. Not that, I wanted to go drive to an island and pull my family in tight and stay away from everybody because I was like, what's the point of this other human being doing this to another human being. They had no right to offer that job to me. They had no right to give me hope. They had no right to offer me this financial security, you know, and it was like that was like not even theirs to give to me.
Right.
And it was like that someone ripped the rug out from underneath me.
Oh,
and I didn't know if I was going to be able, I was like, what's the point? What's the point of doing any of this? And I almost pulled the plug on everything that I was doing. But I didn't. I like you eventually found a bright spot, something to pull me out. And I figured that, you know, I'm going to put one foot in front of the other, and I'm just going to keep going, because there are a bunch of, you know, fuckers out there that are trying to take advantage of people that are, you know, trying to better themselves, and they prey on you.
Yep.
And it drives me nuts, because, and we had another mutual friend that ended up getting scammed, and they took like almost $3,000 of their money in a check scam that's out there.
Awful.
And, you know, so I'm glad that someone out there, you know, stopped me from fully getting scammed. But like, how do you, you know, and in my mind, I'm like, how do you protect yourself? You know, like it's really difficult, you know?
It is. And it blows my mind too. Like you said, just like they have no right. Like, and even like from all the research, because I've done a lot since this has happened. Like, I'm like, why do they do this? Like,
Why?
is it worth, like, yes, they're taking money from you, but I'm like, it's not enough. Like from me, what I've discovered, and I don't know how true this is, you know, internet research, but what it sounds like it is they're looking for paying porn customers. And so however they're posting, and like I said at the beginning, they were posting some pretty like inappropriate things. There's something with how they post that people know, and I don't know what it is, what they are. And so they always will post like a link or a contact or something. And I guess bottom line is that's what they're growing as their porn businesses. And it's like, I guess the people that are looking for it know what to look for, but that's what they're doing is they're taking these platforms that have enough followers that they think, and then some are actually emailing or messaging your followers and trying to get things from them. But it sounds like the biggest thing is the porn side of it. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, it's already easy enough to get that. Why do you need to like get more customers?
It's like the new deep fakes that are coming out, right? Like, I don't know if you guys heard about it, but they're making deep fake. Like, someone can make a deep fake of you in a porn video.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you can't believe anything anymore.
No, you can't. Oh my God. That just made me realize that I actually got it, because I'm also doing on camera stuff. And I actually got an audition it was for AI generated. Well, it was, you know, it was AI generated. They wanted you to be one of the actors and actresses to get in. It was like, get in, you know, in the groundbreaking AI generated, you know, something or other. I wrote it down, and I'm thinking, and the creepy crawlies started. I was like, nope, skip, delete, like not doing that, because AI is huge right now. It's taking your voice, using it in different places, recreating it and using it for other things. And that's huge in voiceover. And then the whole AI face thing. I was like, are you freaking kidding me right now? Like, it was an
crazy
AI generated facial audition for a company. They were going to pay me like $25 to $42 a month to use my face. I have it on a sticky, so you know it's official. And I was like, skip, you know, because it's like, you didn't know, you know, who knows? Next thing you know, you could have been on like a porn.
Right. Yeah. And you sign it away, you know, like, oh, sure, it's fine.
Yeah.
And then you can't get it back.
No. And, you know, and a lot of stuff on social media, they offer you like these 2-step factors to like protect yourself. But a lot of times that stuff, like, it just makes it even more difficult for you to even
access your own account.
I know. Which I now do recommend doing that. I have it on all my accounts, because they tried to hack into my bank account right when they stole my account. So I had to go change passwords on everything.
Yeah.
We had to change all our credit cards, everything, because they were trying to use my cards. And so I do recommend doing the 2-step identification. It's a pain, like, because I've been doing it now. It's a pain. And then also, I have not launched in or got it, but there is some companies and when I get my accounts back, I will spend the money and do it, that will actually, for creators, do it's like an insurance basically. So if you are hacked, they will pay you what you were making, like, estimate whatever your monthly, until they can get your account back, and then they are the ones working to get your account back. And now that I realize how ridiculous and hard this is, I will pay for someone to do that for me, because it is awful. And also, I have to say, like, yes, I will use Facebook and Instagram, but I have learned throughout this that, like, your companies like YouTube that actually have human customer service,
Yeah.
that's what I'm sticking with. You
Yeah.
think, like, for someone that is putting all the time into creating and doing these videos and all of this, it is so worth it to me to go with someone that I could pick the phone up and call. I can message, you can chat on the screen, whatever, you
Yeah.
can get help. And even TikTok, it's like, I mean, I would say TikTok is the least out of any platform as far as, like, for a creator to make money, but unless you're like huge, millions of followers, but even them have better customer service than Facebook. It blows my mind. It honestly blows my mind.
Yeah. That's interesting because, like, a lot of time I was listening to a podcast, and also in some other, when I went to Podfest, right? They talk
Ah,
about they talk about making sure that you don't just have your stuff in one spot.
yeah.
That you want to make sure you have it on Pinterest, and you want to have it
Yep.
on TikTok, and I know a lot of times they don't want you to share from one platform to the other platform, but I
No,
don't
you
care.
do. Yeah, you do.
I put it in all the different
Yeah.
places, because just in case. Remember, like, I don't know, a year or so ago, remember when everything got shut down? Do you guys,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Like, I
Yes.
mean, people that have
Terrifying.
businesses on, like,
Yeah.
social media, I mean, everything got shut down, like, worldwide,
Yep.
and you had no access to
Right.
Instagram or Facebook. So that's when I started putting stuff up on TikTok. Now my
Yeah.
husband's like, "I don't want you on TikTok." And I'm like, "Okay." But I mean, it is that this is the world that we're,
It
entering
is.
into.
Yeah.
And you have to be careful even in any
Yeah.
platform that you're on, and
Oh,
make
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
I absolutely have to tell you, one of my favorite videos that you've done was the one with the sorbet. I think we talked about this before, where you're
Oh,
taking
yes.
White Claw. Gabby is
Delicious.
so freaking hilarious. And you're like, drinking White Claw on a spoon, dipping it into the sorbet. I mean,
Yes.
it's just hysterical. And then even, like, the accidentally putting a white can of White Claw in your kid's lunch when you're
Yes.
following
Yes.
some of the
Yes.
tutorials, like, and
Yes.
and I mean, and they're just so fun because it's, like, real,
Right. Right.
I mean, and I just think it's so fun, and I hope that you can get back to,
I know.
creating that kind of content and sharing that content. And yeah, are
Getting
you on
close.
TikTok? Are you on
Oh,
TikTok?
yeah. Yeah, on TikTok, it's official Shanny Pants. So I'm still on TikTok and YouTube. I'm hanging out on YouTube. That's the place to be now. So,
Yeah,
I'm Shanny Pants on YouTube, and YouTube's been treating me good, so I'm hanging out there a lot,
it's a great
and then
place
I
to
would
be.
it is. It's really good, and they've got a lot of new features now
Yeah.
that are really, they're making it different. It's good. It's
You
really
can
good.
upload some of your content as shorts. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
I've been uploading some of my TikToks or my Instagram
Mhm.
Reels or whatever.
Have you
And
been taking your watermarks off?
no, I don't know how to do that. We'll have to
Okay,
talk
I'll
about
I'll
that.
send you I'll send you stuff. Because I like you said, you want to share your content on all, every platform that you're on says, like, don't share across platforms, but you can take your watermarks off and it helps get more views once you take the
Oh,
watermark off.
okay.
But I share all. And, like, for the last several months or weeks that I've actually been posting again, I I haven't been in the mood really to create quite yet, but I'm getting
Yeah.
there. But I just post old stuff, and that's like one of the biggest things that people always think never to do. I post old stuff all the time. I'll put different words
Yeah.
over the top of other words and make it different, and
Yeah.
sometimes not. Sometimes I'll just throw the old one up there. So I just have,
Yeah.
like, a file in my phone for just, little tip here. I just have a file in my phone where after I give you the website where you download your TikToks or Instagrams, take the watermarks off, and then I save them in a file on my phone with no watermarks, and then you
Oh,
can
that's
just
cool.
post them from there. Yeah.
That's
Which, and
awesome.
now, after learning what I'm learning, is when I'm doing this, and wish I would have done it sooner, because there's so many on Instagram and Facebook that I only had posted on those platforms because it was during the time where you heard like, oh, I'm only supposed to do this, and then I'll do a TikTok, and then I'll do a reel.
Right.
And so there's tons that are gone that I'll never get back. And
Shoot.
yeah, so it is important to have your stuff backed up in a place with no watermarks that's just for you. And so, yeah, so now I've been backing up. I'm having to like buy storage. I'm like, oh gosh. So, yeah.
Yeah, I actually I try to download it to my camera roll so that at least I have it on my camera roll, whether
Yes.
I decide to upload it to TikTok or I don't know,
Yeah.
Pinterest or whatever. But you got to
Mhm.
be really careful. And I have to tell you, some of your tutorials, your makeup ones.
Oh yeah, isn't that
I-
helpful?
Oh my God, it's so helpful. It's hilarious. Oh my God, I was on Instagram recently, or I don't know, one of the social medias, and they're talking about how like the first thing to go is your neck area. And they had this
See?
tool.
This is what happens.
That's what happens. And they had the tool. They have this like tool. It looks like a window cleaner or
Yes.
something. Like they took it out
Yes.
of their car and they're like, just scrape it along your neck. And those are the
I need to do a video on that. Yeah, I do.
You do.
Because people keep telling me, because I talk about my double chins all the time. And I've had so many people comment about this tool that you can use. And then just recently, someone in person was like, no, I've been using it and it really works. I'm like, now I actually want to try it and see.
Yeah.
But I've had double chin since I was like 2, so I'm
Me
like,
too.
I don't know if I can actually get rid of these. I mean, if I lose a little weight, I'd lose a chin or 2, but I've always had some.
Me too.
So
Yeah.
I'm
And I always
like,
have this thing. Yeah. And it's funny because like I'm the type of person too, when I see these commercials, they're like social infomercials. I'm like,
yes.
ooh, I think I'm gonna have to buy that. Like I bought the chopsticks that light up, for stocking stuffers. Like I bought the little duck with like, I don't know. He's right here. I bought this guy.
Oh,
Like
the fan.
like I bought him. I mean, I'm the one that buys this shit. And
They're
that's
gonna
like,
keep sending you these ads.
I know, but it's like, some of this stuff you wonder, does it really work, or
I
like
know.
that one that you can put the cover for your couch. They make it look
Oh
so
my
easy,
gosh. Yeah.
or the
I bought that
giant
one.
dog bed. You did?
Did
Or the
you?
Yeah.
Does it look amazing or is it awful?
It's you have to get the measurements right, but if you
Oh.
tuck it in,
It
it looks
okay.
good.
Okay.
It's just when the kids get on it and then it's like, oh.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what
So it's like,
But
no one's allowed to sit on the couch anymore, but I have a cover that can handle spills, but don't get on it.
yeah, exactly.
I feel like you need to have like a modern couch too, like it has to be like a modern style. It can't
Like a
be
certain
like the
style.
old classic. Yeah.
Right.
Definitely. That's why it didn't fit on ours. And I have the couch in my room now. Because
See, perfect.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. I'm so glad that you were able to come on, and I really hope that
it's
you.
so fun.
Yeah, it is fun. I'm so happy that you started a podcast too, because
I
just
love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like therapy.
No,
honestly,
it seriously is.
yeah, it is.
It is.
And I do the same thing. Like I'm trying to niche down a little bit with season 4, because when you have things really broad and open, I would just intuitively find different people that I think, oh, that would be a great conversation.
Yeah.
Or I really like talking, I really like what this person's doing. I know that we could dig in a little bit. There's got to be a story there. And my dad used to call me Barbara Walters, which I think it was sort of like
I
a
love it.
little bit of a dig, but I'm going to embrace it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, and it's like, it's just exciting to meet new people, find other people that are podcasting, promote other people's podcasts. And also we're really trying to hyper focus on creatives, which I
love
believe
that.
you are definitely in the creative realm too. And you're a podcaster,
I know. I love it.
And it's fun. And if you ever get a chance, I highly recommend going to a podcast conference.
I want to. I really, really want to. When you had messaged me about that or told me, I'm like, oh, I wanted to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I was probably in bed that day, but I need to do stuff like that though. I think that would be so much fun.
Well, with your sister living in Florida, that was they come to Orlando every year. And then there's another big one called Podcast Movement, and that's in Vegas. So that's a little closer to you.
Yeah, that is close. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but I highly recommend it. It was a lot of fun. I don't know if I would have done it necessarily if my podcast host hadn't invited me and I was a VIP. And you meet so many great people, and everybody wants to learn and grow and connect, and it was a really fun experience. So
that's awesome. I would love to do that.
Now that you're a podcaster,
I know.
highly
I'm in now.
recommend it.
I can't stop now.
So, okay, so let's end on one little thing, because I don't want to take up your whole morning. I was gonna
Oh,
say, I
no,
just
I'm good.
one fun thing where it's like you're supposed to go to your keyboard and type in like I am and let your computer finish, but my Apple
Ooh.
Mac, my MacBook won't play. It won't play with me.
Oh,
So
good times.
let's talk about what was your first concert that you ever went to? Because I feel like this is really telling. I'll go first.
Oh, okay. Yes. Oh, this
I
is
was
gonna be
back
fun.
in Michigan and I was in grade school, and my best friend at the time that lived 2 streets over, her dad took us to a Beach Boys concert at Pine Knob, which was an outdoor venue, and I'll
Wow.
never forget it. Yeah, so that was like my very first concert.
I love that.
It was so
That's
fun.
awesome.
It was so fun.
Like
Anybody?
back when it was just the original Beach Boys.
Yes, it
That's
was way back in
so
like it
awesome.
was, I think, gosh, I was in like 2nd grade or
Oh
something,
my
or 3rd grade. So
gosh.
really, I was a baby. It was
Oh,
definitely in the 80s.
that's awesome.
Yeah. Anyone?
That's awesome.
Anyone else can remember
Go
their
ahead,
first?
Gabby. Do you remember?
Yeah. I was 7 back in 97.
Young baby.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. My dad was working as a radio host, and he got tickets to go see at a Mexican radio station. He got tickets to go see a Mexican group called Mana, which is really big here, and they're
Oh,
starting to be really big in the US too. I mean, they are amongst Hispanics.
that's awesome.
And so he really wanted to go, but then that night my brother got sick, and it was the first and only time I ever saw my dad beg. He was begging my brother to go, because if
Aw.
if he didn't feel well, we were gonna stay and we were all gonna miss the concert. So he's like, please, please go, please tell your mom you feel better, please. So then my brother was like, okay, Dad, I'll go. And so that was my first concert.
That's back in the day when they're like, you don't have a fever, you're
Yeah,
fine.
you're good.
You're good.
Yeah,
You're not throwing
exactly.
up, you're good. You're good.
Right.
Just
Now
suck it
you
up.
gotta
Let's
stay in
go.
your room for 2 weeks.
Yeah, right.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. That's great. That's fun. Okay. I had to really think about this, and I can't believe I remembered. This is a memory I haven't dug into forever.
It's therapy.
It is. It is. I was raised a little off different. So we weren't allowed to listen to music or
Right.
go to concerts or any events, fun events like that. But when I was probably 8th grade or a freshman, so probably 13, 14, 15, somewhere in there, we had these friends outside of our church cult group that they were like another Christian religion, but normal. And we snuck, and they took me and my sister to a Stephen Curtis Chapman concert, which he's like a Christian singer, but we were still not allowed to listen to him because we could
Wow.
only like listen to not anyone cool. And so we went to it, and I remember just being like, oh, are we supposed to clap? Like, what? Okay. Looking around, like, this is what other people do. Cause we didn't know like how churches worship. Like, we didn't know that kind of behavior. So it was very weird, but it was so much fun. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I had honestly not thought about it in 20 years until you just said that. So that I had to dig, but that was a good one.
That
Isn't
must
it?
have been exciting.
Yeah,
It
that must have
was.
been really exciting.
A little scary too. Like, is someone going to see me? Like, everything we
Yeah.
did bad
Yeah.
was like also fun, but like, I'm going to get caught. And I'm such a rule follower. So I always freaked out anytime I would do anything real rebellious, like go to a Christian concert.
Which is interesting because it's like I didn't think anything of it going to a concert with my friend's dad,
Right.
in 2nd or 3rd grade. You don't even think anything of it. And, yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
I
What was
know.
the first concert that you ever went to, like, as a grown up? That like you knew you weren't going to get in trouble and you could actually fully enjoy it.
Probably, honestly, we didn't start going to stuff till a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And so okay, my favorite, I don't know if it wasn't the first, but my favorite, I had a client who I helped purchase a house here, and he ran the Golden One Center, which is like our big arena here in Sacramento, where all the concerts and big stuff happens, basketball games. And so he would always get me in. So I'd either go to the box or have really good tickets. And I got to see Pink there,
Ah.
like probably 3 years ago before
Oh,
COVID. Oh my gosh, it was so magical. And it was when she
yeah.
like swung out and we were in the box and she like literally comes like right up to you. It was
It's so cool.
That's so
crazy.
cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So I got to see a lot of fun concerts when he lived here because
Yeah.
I'd get in for free. So that was amazing. But when you were mentioning the Beach Boys, that actually was probably the first concert, like real concert I went to. Like probably 6 years ago, my sisters and I, for Father's Day, they were here local and we bought tickets for my dad, and me and my 2 sisters took my dad. And so the 4 of us went,
Aw.
and it was seriously so much fun because we grew up sneaking Beach Boys and my dad would listen to them in the car with us. And so there were so many good memories around it, but some of them are dead now or they can barely sing. So there's a lot of like young guys that help
Yeah.
them out now, which was still great. It still sounds very, the same.
Beach Boy.
But it sounds like it was so much fun though. And it was like an outdoor theater. It was really cool. That was like probably my most like memory
of like music and
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's
It was
so
It's
fun
so
concert.
interesting. Some of the music that I'm listening to now, or that I grew up listening to, just me in general. Like we just had this conversation recently that like my music is classic hits, right? Like,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is so weird,
Yeah.
because it's like
Yes.
Beach Boys used to be the classic hits, and now
Right.
Red Hot Chili Peppers and Green
Yes.
Day and that kind of
Yes.
stuff is actually classic hits. So it's a little bit weird. So
It is. It's funny.
thank you so much for coming on today
You're
and hanging out. I'm so
welcome.
glad that
Oh.
like you're on the up and up. I mean, I think that's like
Yes.
such a real I'm glad that you shared that, because I feel like that's something that is real and relatable and something that we've
Yeah.
all been through,
Mhm.
to some
level,
extent,
degree.
yeah, some
Yeah.
level, yeah.
Yep,
And so
I
it's
agree.
nice to be able to sort of like normalize it, and
Right.
talk about it and throw it out there into the nether in the universe, because somebody
Yep.
out there can hear it and go, okay, I'm not the only one,
Right. Right.
and
Yeah.
just make sure that if something feels weird, make sure you just stay away from it.
Yes. Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah,
So
and
much
double check
scammy
all your
stuff.
so much scammy stuff. All right,
So much scammy stuff.
I
and so if
admire
anybody,
you, by the way,
what?
Huh?
for getting back up and keep fighting. And
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you. It was
absolutely.
tough. I'm not gonna lie. It was tough.
oh yeah, I believe you.
Oh my gosh.
So if anybody
I believe
wants to find you,
Yes.
they can find you on TikTok, which
Yes.
is
Official Shanny Pants.
and
And
YouTube.
Shanny Pants. And I'm on Instagram now at The Real Shanny Pants. But I would also just direct you to go to shannypantsshow.com, because there I can at least keep my my links current if things get hacked again. So I will hopefully just have the website. At least you can go there and find out. My podcast is on the website too. So
Yeah. And you're on all the podcast
Yeah.
platforms, and that's
Yeah.
what and it's the Shanny Pants Show podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I
Yeah.
love your artwork. It's so fun.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
All right.
Got to be
All right.
bright and crazy.
I know, right? All right. Hang tight for 1 second.